Spider-Man is less than a week from release, and already a bunch of controversy is surrounding the game about a downgrade. Now, before I continue, let me make a few statements. First, you always should vote with your wallet about whether you want to practice continue or not, because what you pay for is what you're going to get in the future, because companies are going to give you what you give them money for. It's just that simple. And it is not my intention to tell you not to buy this game or to buy this game with the information I am presenting here in my opinions. This is just my opinion, and honestly, more along the lines of wait and see with this game. This game has other issues besides the potential downgrade that has me concerned, such as the developers' attempt to meddle in U.S. political affairs on their official channel, given the UK's current political climate that has drifted to dangerously close to Orwell's day nightmares. All the while blatantly cutting content to sell back as DLC, and of the content cut, it looks pretty substantial, not in size, but integral to the experience as a whole. Straight up, there are numerous reasons to put this game on a wait-and-see list. Not boycott or not buy, but wait and see. But today we're going to talk about the downgrade, because a slew of people who shall go unnamed and media outlets have taken to abusing their positions of influence to denigrate and insult consumers once again, or are in such a position where they are not going to risk their access to materials, so they're opting not to cover the issue entirely. I could gripe on and on about this, but let's get to the grip of the topic, shall we? The heart of the issue arose a few days ago when a Twitter user by the handle of Pencil Sharpener noticed that there might be some potential downgrade to level of detail in the upcoming game. By now you've probably seen numerous people claim it was all about puddles, and that's just an outright fabrication by those blindly attempting to dismiss claims of the game being downgraded. The claim wasn't just that this puddle was smaller, followed by a sequence of reading, but that Spider-Man was missing details. Shadows are obviously missing, and no amount of sun shifting can cause this to occur. The environments have less details, lighting and shading, and the buildings in the background do indeed look washed out. All very true and all backed up by screenshots, and thus they are not just baseless accusations based off of some rumor heard from some anonymous source on some random message board. This is stuff the eye can see, and the easiest way to refute all this is just to provide a screenshot or some video proving otherwise. When prompted to, Insomniac has opted to refuse to do anything of the sort, and to tell people to go back and look at post-E3 footage. With the controversy growing, instead of releasing some new gameplay footage, they've opted to release a photo mode trailer, which does look pretty substantial, but it looks so smooth. As a fan of PlayStation, I have to call bullshit on that being natively captured naturally on the PS4, and I can see how people can believe that this was captured on PC instead, as many games for the consoles are actually in fact made for the PC first, or made on dev kits for the PC, which means they have considerable more processing power at their disposal. In short, the controversy is very simple. New footage shows a downgrade, and Insomniac claims there wasn't a downgrade, but doesn't want to prove it, and instead opts for using explanations that in no way, shape, or form could be responsible for what is seen. The most telling tweet is the one you're seeing right now, how the developers don't like showcasing stuff, and that's normally because things change in development, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices that you'd not like to in order to get a game out the door and running at a stable frame rate. Oftentimes when features aren't cut, it's graphic fidelity that's being decreased. This is just a normal part of development, and studios that come out and be honest with their consumers have found people to be unhappy, but otherwise understanding for the most part. What bothers me about this is not that it happened. The game will probably look good regardless, and the highlight of the game isn't graphics, but how you get to play as Spider-Man. A downgrade isn't the worst thing that could happen. After all, The Witcher 3 was downgraded, and it became Game of the Year. Now, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, I don't think Spider-Man has a shot in hell at Game of the Year, but stranger things have happened. The problem is the deception about the graphic quality and the media and the YouTubers' antagonisms in regard to the issue. In all likelihood, what's going to happen is the pro version is going to be completely fine, has all the detail in the suit, lighting, shadows, etc., with maybe a few alterations and sacrifices here and there. Not going to be really big stuff, just some stuff that are shrunk or altered just to make the game run smoothly, and that stuff happens. But it's going to be the regular PlayStation 4 that's going to have the downgraded picture. Or the game without the Day 1 patch is going to have some graphic issues regardless of what version. Because the Day 1 patch is apparently very substantial. Why this can't just be said is a mystery. But then again, this is from the same studio who thinks interjecting their opinion on their official YouTube channel about US politics is a good move, so their judgment probably isn't the greatest. Now, here's the caveat to all this. Is it really going to impact your experience if this game is downgraded? Now let me know in the comments below. Personally, I think even though false advertisement is still illegal, still immoral, and still very anti-consumer, the impact will be very minute. The real fear, I believe, about the whole situation comes not from the consumers and the consumer reaction, but for more bad press for Sony and Insomniac. Many are rightfully pissed at Sony for their anti-consumer practices or virtue signaling they put in their first-party titles, but they have just been hammered lately on all grounds, and I don't think Sony really wants more of that. What's going to throw gas on the fire, though, and yet give another reason for people to be angry at Sony, is that they're being lied to if this game comes out with a downgrade. On top of all the media who are going to be doing damage control with their usual gamers are entitled articles, will pretty much keep this whole controversy swirling for weeks after launch, if there is even the slightest hint of a downgrade. Like, it doesn't even have to be as substantial as it is shown in the pictures if there's just a minute downgrade. This controversy will swirl for weeks. And realistically, we're not going to really know whether or not this game's actually been downgraded. I personally do not trust Insomniac on this. But at the same time, I can't say it's been downgraded. At any rate, we'll know in 5 days. So sling on and peace out.